This is gonna be a art stream, so if you want to know some simple little art things, we'll go ahead and do that. I did this earlier, by the way, but the music was too loud, and I was not aware of that. So we're redoing it right now, and we might do a little bit longer of a thing as well. Usually we don't stream today, but that's alright. So, let's start with something simple, and then we'll work up into something else. I use Krita, by the way. It's free and it works well. Now the music isn't too loud this time, is it? Because it was earlier. So let's do something simple. Let's make a cube real quick. It's a simple cube. Boom, simple. Now, with this cube, we're gonna go ahead and shade some of it. We're gonna go shade this side. Just do some simple lines right there. And do 2 right there, 1 right there. You need sleep kills, I'm sorry. You should go to sleep then. So now we have a cube. A badly shaded cube. Now, how can we make this badly shaded cube better? Well, let's try and make it better. First of all, let's make it a bit more flat. And connect this up better. And not have that completely throughout the whole thing. There we go. And draw that and then bring that there. For the shading, instead of having those 2 rows, we're going to make it 1 row of shading going all the way across it. And we're going to have 2 right there and 1 right there. Then we'll give it that little thing that I gave it. I don't know why I gave that. There we go. So yeah, it's a little bit better. With just a few ways we can make something better like that. And you can do that with almost anything. It's an important thing to know that things can be made better pretty easily. So if your art, your drawing, you don't like, just remember you can probably fix it up pretty easy. You just need to know how. Like with this one, you might think, oh, I've included more shading, it should be better. Well, no, not really. Because of the type of shading, it doesn't mix with the rest of it. This one, all of it mixes. Also, the lines on this are straighter, and it's not at an angle, which is useful when doing simple things. So, don't worry if your stuff doesn't look that great. It's probably something that you can fix pretty easily. Now, let's go ahead and do something a little bit different, eh? Alright. So, say you want to draw a face. Now, a face is a oval. You can make an oval, make 2 little circles, 2 lines, a half triangle, and another line. And then there you go. You got a face. Is it a good face? No. But it's a starting point. Let's give him some hair. There you go. Let's make some ears. Ears don't really make that much difference. There you go, you got a very simple face, just easy like that. Shapes are what make up everything. If you have your mind where you can see shapes and things, then you can draw. Because shapes are in everything, and they are very helpful to know. I went over this earlier this morning, but again, the music was too loud to actually hear what I was saying, so... Whoops. Let's look at stairs. Okay, so these are stairs, but they're not proper. But they're squares. The stairs are squares. It's very simple. From the side, they look a bit more like this. They're just squares. That's really all they are. Squares sitting on top of each other. Or maybe a rectangle. And with that, you can make some stairs from the side with just these shapes. Same with hands. With the hand, which hands are incredibly difficult to draw, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers, right? And then you have your hand. Boom. The fingers are made up of little ovals and squares. They're really more rounded squares. If you go ahead and do that, then you can make fingers pretty easily. It's a lot easier, at least. And then the thumb is like a big 2 square, and then the main part of the hand is it's really more of a triangle than a square. But the point being, with shapes you can make just about anything, even if you don't know how to. As long as you can see shapes, you can make pretty much anything. That's very important to art. Let's go into something a little bit more advanced, though. So, say you want to shade something. Now, a lot of people have a problem with shade. Hold on, I'll be there in a second. So with shade, what you want to do is, there's several different ways you can do shade. Oh Jesus, there we go. Now an easy way is, let's go ahead and make a cylinder. Cylinders are very easy to make. All you gotta do is draw a rectangle with little circles at the end. Don't need to make it look good. Now let's go ahead and get our tools. Toolbox. With that, let's go ahead and grab this. Make 3 of these. Let's make 3 of these, yeah. And if you don't know how to do this, it's very easy. In Krita and Photoshop, all you gotta do is you have to select this area, hit Control T, then hit Control C and Control V, and then you can move them. Very easy to do that. Okay. And to go into this view, you hit Tab. Very easy. So with these cylinders, let's do some simple shading with just some simple little lines. I'll do that with the inside. Just adding a little bit. There we go. There we go. Simple, that's a little bit better. Now let's do a little bit more of shading. We'll even do some cross-hatching on this one. And then boop, 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 boop. Now this one, if you'll notice, we did more shading, but it doesn't look much better now, does it? That's because there's a problem with shading. If you want to get a lot of stuff shaded really well, then you need to do everything, because otherwise your shade's gonna look weird. Now you can do stuff where you're really close to the line and it shouldn't look that bad, but overall, if you want to do detailed shading, it's not going to look normal if you don't do everything. So what you gotta do is you gotta figure out, how do I go ahead and shade everything? It's easy enough, it just takes a lot more time to do that. But once you do it, it usually looks a lot better, or at least more realistic. So there we go, there's our cylinder that looks a bit more shaded. Now, this isn't very good shading because it's just messy, but you get the idea. It looks better, or at least more realistic than this one. This one looks the worst out of the three. The simple one probably looks the best because it's simple and I just made it. The most shaded one looks alright, but because I don't have the shade right, it doesn't look great. Hold on, there we go. There we go, that's a little bit better. So you don't really want to do the just half, oh yes, I'm going to shade everything, and then half nothing. You really would want to do more of a, either I'll do some shading, or I'm going to do a lot of shading over everything. That's what you really want to do. Now, if you don't know a lot about shading, this one encompasses a thing that's called cross-hatching, whereas you just make lines and cross them over. This one is just simple shading of lines. There is a third way, or fourth way. Third way of shading that I don't really see people do anymore. There we go. Now the third way of shading is probably the most difficult. The third way is dots. Now I don't usually use dots in my shading process because for one, I use a pad and it is difficult to actually get the dots. Secondly, it takes a lot of time, like a lot of time to do this properly, but this is a third way of shading that has been done, and is still being done. This is a dot shading, where you use dots, and eventually you get to a point where your mind sees this all as solid thing, but like I said, I don't really do this that much. I've used it before, but I usually use it in combination with stuff. So those are your three major ways of shading, really. There's the simple way, which is this one. There's the cross-hatching, which is a bit more advanced. Then dots, which are evil. Or these are evil. So there's some simple ways of shading. Let's go ahead and look at something else. Oh. Hold on a second. So, let's look at how do you think you can make a simple cartoon face? Well, Let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's make a simple cartoon face. Now, there are a lot of things to take into mind when doing this, but there's a really easy way of doing it. It's really easy. Basically, what you need are your face shape. Let's do this for our face shape. Doesn't need to be good. Let's do an eye there and there. Simple circles. Put a little eyeball thing in them. Let's give him bushy eyebrows. Let's give him a big nose. Just a nice curl. And then a slightly downward smile or thing. Low chin. Whoa. There you go. And let's give him some crazy hair. And let's give him a mustache. And then let's, for his neck, we'll give him a little sweater. But he's also wearing a jacket. This is simple to do. Just gotta make a rounded rectangle, really, for his body. And so he has a simple jacket, some arms, and he's wearing a sweater. Let's give him these little things. And a little pocket right there. And then boom. Look at that, you made a very simple Albert Einstein. It's taken a few minutes. Drawing like this is very easy, and it helps you see what shapes go into what. So if you are new to drawing, or you think you're having some issue, I recommend doing this sort of cartoonist style. It'll help you build up being able to make things without having to go and set them up 100 times and then erase them, and then redo it and erase and redo it and erase. Honestly, erasing isn't very good for the overall drawing process. It's really better if you can figure out how to go on without doing that much for erasing. Well, now, let's see. Let's do something a little bit more difficult now. Let's try and make a, I don't know, Kels, are you there? I don't know if Kels is there. I don't think Kels is there. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this then. Let's make a flower. That's very simple. Let's do that. You can follow along if you want. With your pen or in paper, or if you're on the computer. It doesn't matter. This is applicable to either one. Note that I am using the equivalent of ink, though. I am using the equivalent of an ink pen, so if you are following along with a pencil, I am using an ink pen, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's make a simple happy flower, right? Let's go ahead and we're gonna do this without erasing. That might seem scary, but let's go ahead and just sketch out a petal. And we're not gonna do the circle first. We're gonna go ahead and just do another petal here. And just a nice curve. And then another one right here. and then another one, and we're not erasing, so just keep doing that. If you mess up, it's alright, you know. And then another little pal right there. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and take these in a little bit on the sides so that they come in a little bit more. Just keep on doing that for every one of them, and then we'll do the little circle on the inside. Just make that a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it's not perfect. Alright, these don't have to connect. Now, we're gonna make the stem. You can make whatever kind of stem you want. Mine's gonna be curvy because I think that's fun. And mine's gonna have a little leaf on it too. And stem doesn't have to be very good. It's just a straw. There you go, we're not even gonna finish that. And then I'm gonna make a little leaf right here. Just a simple teardrop shape for the leaf. There you go. Do a little line up it, and maybe a line right there. That's it. Alright, see, that's pretty easy. So, now, let's do something not that easy. Remember I was saying... Oh, I hit the mic. Remember I was saying... dot shading? Well, there is something that you can use dot shading for that's kind of easy, which is the flower. The main part of the flower, this part. So, let's go ahead and pretend. Always keep in mind where the sun's coming from. The sun is going to be coming from this way, alright? Let's make a little sun. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. So the sun's going to be coming from this way. Now keep that in mind. We're going to just do these little dots on the side where the sun wouldn't be from. Just do these little dots, you know, along the edge. Along the edge doesn't need to be quite as much of a dot. There we go. And just do a few, make sure they're less up here. And just a few right there, one right there, and doop boop. There you go. There is a little bit of the flowers. Put a little more over here because I see that's a little bit less. And now to increase that, we're gonna make some simple lines on the side right here. Not that dark. A little bit dark on the sides, but not that dark. And then we're gonna do a little bit more right there. Alright. Now for the petals. Also, if you want, you can go ahead and cross along that line right there and fill that in a little bit. There we go. Alright, now for the petals, we're going to use some broad lines, and we're going to make that simple. We're going to go on the sides. Going to do a few right there. And this isn't very detailed, but we're going to keep doing that and make sure to remember where the sun is. And just keep making these single strokes. There you go, along that way. And if you don't really understand how the sun helps with the shadow, it's pretty simple. Basically, the sun casts its rays, so it's going this way. And just imagine these rays hitting things. And what they don't hit, or what is protected against them, will have the shade. I find it much easier that way when I think of it as a physical thing, like water hitting something else. What the water doesn't hit will be in the shadow. I find that easier. Also, our music right now is Luigi's Mansion. Very fun game. Played it when it was on GameCube. Let's keep doing that. Just a little bit right there. And right there, and oop. Alright, and then we're gonna just make this leaf a little bit. There we go. And along this side, we're gonna put some of these lines. Alright, there we go. There's a simple flower. With some shading. Easy. So, if you've made a flower along with this, you can go ahead and let me know. I'd love to see it. Alright, let's do something else, shall we? Let's actually look at a thing real quick. Let me find this. Yes, I'm going to show a different or more advanced version of shading, which takes a lot of time, so I have something I've already done. So this is a more advanced method of shading. Let's look at this TV. So, when you get to the point of adding a lot of shading around the things, it'll get to the point where you'll see things look too dark. Now, if you're on the computer, like I am, that's pretty easy to fix. If you're not, then you can use pencil, and you can use different shading variants to help alleviate the darkness. If you're on a computer, you can just go ahead and put the opacity down for your layers. Otherwise, things will start to look too dark because you've added too much shadow. Which would happen to this if I increased all of these back to their normal variants. There's too many to actually do that right now, so I'm not actually going to do that right now. But, another trick you can use for more advanced shading is right here. I'm not sure if you notice, but this is blue. It's not black, this is blue. With more advanced shading, you can use a tone of blue, or a shade of blue. That's pretty dark. That can help increase the shadow, make it stand out from the others. I've used this blue in several other spots. Now that you see it, you can probably notice it. Before then, you probably didn't notice it. It's also in other places in the image that I don't even remember. I don't even remember where I used it. It might be on that chair. But yeah, a light or a dark shade of blue can help make your shadows stand out if you're doing more advanced shading like this. Another thing is when shading, shapes are very important. For example, this person's head is a robot, and their head isn't supposed to be very human, but it's supposed to have human-like resemblances. So this cheek area here is basically an oval, and I've taken that into consideration, so it is lighter around here and around here. It goes at an angle. Lips are basically a bunch of little circles. And this, your chin, is a triangle to the back where it hinges. All those little simple things that can help you make shading easier. Alright, and you can use a lot of it to your advantage. I'll be right back. I need to shut my window. It's cold. there we go. Sorry. Sorry about that. Now let's see if you are not a landscape or a person sort of artist. Maybe you want to make animals. Well, I honestly don't do animals that well. I've never really figured them out. But I do have a few things that are some simple tips that can help with animals. Lizards. And things with scales. There are several ways that you can do scales. A simple way is this. Just doing a few little scales every once in a while. Another way is that you can use shading to advantage here. You go ahead and take this, and then you do a very simple thing, which is just sort of this, and you use that to your advantage. This will eventually look to be like a bunch of scales. This, however, you have to do all over. Where is that around? You have to do all over the thing for it to look right. With these little ones, you don't really have to do that. Welcome back, Kills. I bet you can do that, and then simple over that will look like scales once it's done. Something that you don't want to do with lizards and scales is you don't want to go ahead and do every one of them individually. Because that takes a lot of time, and unless you know what you're doing, it will overpower the image and take the eye away from the actual creature and onto the texture on it. It's something you don't want to do, and a lot of people make that mistake, and it wastes a lot of time. I really want to keep it a little bit simpler, or do something different, but don't do that, because that will just distract from the ultimate image. Hold on a second. I liked this game. It was a fun game. Another thing that you can do is birds. It's pretty simple to go ahead and draw. I like to draw birds. Other things than birds I'm not really good at though. So let's go ahead and do a simple bird. Birds are easy. Basically, you gotta have a body for a bird. So, I've gone ahead and made that wing. Let's give it a little tail. And let's give it a nice fat belly. And then lead up to its neck. And then a little head. And then you want to do that. And its beak. Oops, messed up on that. There we go. See, there you go. That's fine. Doesn't matter that much. Give it a little eye. And then give it some little feet. And have him standing on this thing, this branch. Whose humming that is from Luigi's Mansion. And there you go. Birds are easy. And then you can dress up the bird in a lot of different ways, but they're pretty easy to do. Very simple like that. To me at least, they're easy. Well, I don't know where my phone is, I just realized. I found it. It was right next to me. Amazing. Do, 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 do. Alright, well, let's see. I've gone over a few things for a little bit now. Why don't we draw something else together? Because we already drew this flower. So, let's draw something else together. What about a bird? We can draw a bird. Yes, let's do that. Now, a lot of people also like to do this. They like to take a light gray, and then over the white they put the gray on. A lot of people like to do that. I don't really usually do that, but we can do that for right now. Alright. Oops, I forgot to do that. There we go. Let's see, let's switch the music to... What about Kirby? I like Kirby. Let's do Kirby. Because this one's almost over anyway. Alright. Now, yeah, let's go ahead and start doing a bird, shall we? Alright, so you got everything ready. And remember, we're trying to do this without erasing or undoing as much as we can. If you have to, that's fine, but don't worry on it being perfect. Let's make a stork-like bird. Alright, now I always like to start with the bodies. So, let's give it a nice body with a tail that doesn't flare up. It's not gonna be like most birds. Most birds have a tail that flares up. And then we're gonna make that a little bit raggedy. Give him a nice big belly. And then make that go up pretty sharp. Pretty flat on the chest. And then for his wings, gonna go and let's get that right there. Doesn't have to be that great. There we go. And then we're gonna have his neck going up. And cranes have a pretty small neck, so like that. He's gonna have these little hairs that stick up off the top of his head, and then I'm gonna have him have a little bit of a silly looking head, not like a normal one exactly, with a little short beak with a blunt snout right there. Give him some eyes, nice big eyes. There you go. We're gonna give him some eyebrows too, because why not? Alright, now let's give him his legs. One leg's gonna come from this side, and he's going to be standing like so. Curve that around, and then, as always, birds have 4 little feet, little toes. I'm gonna have one of the legs come from this side, going at a funny angle, and then coming back down, and then boom. Right beside the other one, with, again, 4 little finger toe things. Give him some of that, and boom, pretty easy, there you go. There's a funny looking stork. Pretty easy to do. You can add some stuff to it. Let's add some color to it. Now that's something I haven't talked about. Let's go and add some color to it. I think some green would look nice. Now, let's go ahead and let's give him some green right there. And some green right there too. just put that in little places here and there. There we go. A little bit on the tail. There you go. It's got some green on him now. Now, let's talk about color since we've just added some color to him. Doop, boop, boop. I don't usually use a whole lot of color in my stuff, but I do know how color works. So, say you want to color something. Now, I want to color this nice dark green, so I'm doing a forest. Now, what color would go good with that? Well, what about a nice dark purple? And I need a third color. For a nice blue. There you go. Those three, they mix alright together. They look okay. We can have lighter and darker variants of those two. So, we can have a lighter blue and we can have a lighter red. We can all mix those together. They mix pretty okay. Now, the reason that they mix okay is because colors follow a simple, well, arguably simple line of inclusion. So, these colors come from all in the same line. As you can see, this one goes from right there. That one also stems from right there. And this one as well stems from right there. That's because if you mix them at different variants, they probably won't look that good together. There's a chance that they will, but they'll most likely overpower each other if you just keep going on, throwing different things in the mix, going like, oh yeah, I want some of that, and some of this, and I want some of that. You need to remember where your color is coming from, and where it is in the scale. It's called color theory. It's called color theory because no one knows for sure how color theory works. But it's thought that as long as you have color from the same spot, or from the same pigment, next to each other, that are varied from each other, then it should look alright. If you go and say, oh, I want this color green next to this color green, next to this weird orange, you can probably tell that this one doesn't flow nearly as well as that one. Even though these are varied, this one, I wouldn't want an entire image made out of these three colors. These two greens maybe, but this gold, no. These three, they might not seem like they'd mix, but they kind of do. They have a chemistry going. Just because they are applying the color theory. Now, it's simple. Basically, you want to keep colors opposites, but also with the same pigment. Now, myself, I like neons. I love neons. Love to use them together. So, and I love to use colors that shouldn't really go together as well. It's called experimental color theory when I'm doing this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on how well it's mixed together. But that's just me, I like this. Something where it did work is... Hold on, it did work with this bike. This bike is using this experimental sort of theory, and it worked pretty well as far as the color goes, as well as hold on, as well as this one. This one. This one also worked good together. Pink and green, yeah, they do actually go together, but I'm saying that generally you wouldn't use that for your palette. But this also is one that worked out. So sometimes it doesn't work because it's a weird thing. Like I said, it's experimental color theory. And sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. It really just depends on your ability to mix colors at that point. And that sadly takes a lot more time and effort to figure out than I can explain. I don't even know how to work that well. Which is why I stick to black and white stuff. Hold on, let me get that back to its normal size. There we go. And that's a little bit of color theory for you. Also, you may have noticed I was using 3 colors for each one. You can use more than 3, but it's recommended that you don't go past 5, because past 5, it can get messy. And what I mean is that you have your major colors, not your different shades, but you have like major colors, like I want this blue, and then I want this yellow, and then I want this red, and then I want this other blue, and then I want this green. Past that, it will get messy, and you'll have to really think about what you're doing as far as the color goes. So it's safer to stick to 3 or 4 major colors, and then from those 4 you can make your different shades. So like, say we have these 3. Alright, I want a brighter one, and darker, and brighter, and darker, and then brighter, and darker. That's what I mean by different variants, and different shades of them. Those should all go together. But having more than that, it gets a little bit more complicated. Which you can go ahead and try, but it probably won't end up that good. So anyway, there's a little bit of some stuff for you if you're getting into drawing or already into drawing and you want to know a little bit more. We went over some shading, we went over how to draw some stuff together, we went over different shapes and colors, which I already said, so I hope that that's helped some. And if this is something that people like, I can go ahead and do this more. Maybe we can draw more stuff together. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. That's going to be it for the YouTube portion of this for now. So thank you.